It's the sign up sheet.
Thank you.
I know. Well, hang on. I think I can help. Maybe.
So
There any
my
questions or else here?
September 30.
Don't want that.
And Carrie did. Let's get back to.
Let's check. I didn't, I left yesterday. I hadn't
It's
seen.
new.
Okay, that's fine. Alice is Oak Hill, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello there. I don't know about that. You what?
That's gonna keep us in line today.
Well, so let's just say that's only something we can tell in retrospect. Okay. Tons of shit.
That's better than not having.
Okay. You again, how do I
How do you? I don't, I don't know, Ken does.
I just need to get that on rather than
What on?
you looking
That
at
on?
the camera.
Oh, I haven't done it yet.
I can get on it, damn it.
Here.
And you just want to see that it's. I'm not giving you the whole.
No, they already.
They take a test, yeah. So there's 145.65, 145.65.
And there'll probably be more because. Employees gone. Works for.
Yeah, I have one too. It works for travel insurance. Same thing.
We have one. We just. We would get them.
Be there. That's how we're good.
Yeah.
Hey, he's the new chief. How are you?
No, not the new chief.
I didn't get a chance to come over and say hello at your meeting the other day.
What do you think of the meeting?
It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. I wanted to come down and see how you guys put that together. I thought you did well.
Yeah, we
The only problem was the stupid Zoom stuff, but I mean the meeting itself.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because we thought there was a potential for fireworks
oh, did you?
and it wasn't.
No,
It actually worked.
we're very appreciative.
Yeah, appreciative and all the things about the evacuation and stuff like that.
Answered people's questions.
Yeah, we did. It was good.
And
Yep.
they answered all the questions perfectly.
Yep.
And I was like, so that's good. Well, plus five for you, man. That was wonderful.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it went well.
I remember being next to this guy here when there was only like 15 fire state council or 16.
I remember.
Now it's doubled that.
Yeah, scary.
Talk about, well, yeah, you guys are
Somebody.
moving at warp speed.
They are. I'm not part of it.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
I would
Go ahead.
for something
Yeah.
by Maya or, how many new council got in the last 7 years or 8.
So,
Went back and looked, it's like it doubled.
it's doubled.
I remember joining this council when there were just 6.
I remember sitting in the audience when you were up here going, I have no idea what they're talking about, especially when they were using the acronym. It's like, okay, I got the and end. out of it.
And even more there than that, look at,
If you don't speak the language, you can't join the club.
I know.
it's almost like a corporation with all the viewers, the tentacles in on it. Cause I still, from Zoom, I zoom in, cause Ken had said, yeah, that Tim's still come in on the Zoom meeting, cause I know, obviously know
Yeah.
their chair.
All you gotta do
Fire
is
state
stay
council,
on.
So
Right.
I attend from
Cool.
1800 miles back. Well, yeah,
And they carried on.
yeah.
Okay, well, I can stop my video. They don't need to see me. They look at Ken's face.
Right?
Well, you have to have a succession plan.
Right, well, that was what we all were struggling with here when we had.
Ken and Janet are in.
Europe,
But then,
in Europe. No, that's something else going on. Yeah, no,
I knew they were going to
so they're like one.
meeting up in.
One's in Scotland, one's in London, and they're meeting, I don't know, Paris. Yeah, something like that.
What's Ventura one?
It's the State Fire Safe Council or something like that, I believe. Okay,
Do they have no idea?
no, it was,
okay, we lost it. Just keep clicking.
Could you think of 11 years old? I know, but they did something.
Did you?
Yeah, just, so I'm like, no, you're not going.
Remember the big thing was the ventilator? It
Yeah.
was killing me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, but I'll try. So I was lucky.
Today you really have to use an advocate and in many aspects.
I knew you were gonna forget me.
But I would. So they don't want to.
Don't. Whatever you get told.
Okay, we're good.
Lucas,
Okay.
population is 7,000.
I really.
Have you?
Right.
I went from 5 acres up in Texas Hill down to just under.
Isn't that
3/4
pretty?
acre, which is fine,
I know.
very manageable. And we have swimming pools and more time for grandkids and all that stuff, but yeah, loving it.
Oh, and the wife is close to the grandkids.
Every
time I go there.
That's why we went out there too.
Oh, sure.
If we wouldn't have gone out there, there's nobody out there, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
We would have just hunkered down and did the best we could here, and I mean paycheck by paycheck.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we were paying, I was telling you, he knows this anyway, that when we left with our California Ontario.
Cool.
$7,200
I'm just about there myself.
Are you? Okay.
Over 6.
I'm over.
Are you over 8, Karen?
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
I have guys, and well, I saw my guys yesterday in my department, they would like to get out of the Bay Area and come up here, but they know, telegraph, telephone, telefirefighter, they know about the high cost of homeowners insurance, and they're going, nope, don't.
No, I should.
And which department?
Huh?
What was your department?
More Pleasant Fire Department.
Got it.
Me too.
East Bay there.
Yeah, they were a Coupa.
I'm sorry.
They were a Coupa,
Yeah.
Certified Unified Program Agency for hazmat. Yeah,
Yeah, they've got a really strong I was on the hazmat team. Before I retired. There you go.
I'm a founder
All right.
and just gave up being curricular chair.
Yeah, it's a good proactive art department. Unfortunately, today with the, with the work ethics today, and I was talking to you, these new guys coming in, just a whole different generation.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah,
You know what? Every generation says that about the next generation.
you're right. You're right. Psycho out as us old guys,
Right.
there's only just a handful of my guys from my generation that are still, waiting to retire, but.
Right. Well, I realized I got my EMT in 1973. I guess.
Oh, did you?
That's
I got
50
my
years.
EMT in 1983. So,
That's forever.
because back then that was the requirement.
Right.
Now it's paramedic.
Right. Yeah. This is a long time ago, and many careers since. So, but now I'm a full-time ski bum and a part-time consultant.
Hey, where do you ski at?
Oh, I generally go to Sierra. I generally ski Sierra, but I got to pass everywhere.
Okay, I always skied up at Sierra Tahoe.
Yeah, that's my home
Yosemite
area.
Valley. I like Kirkwood.
Yep,
too,
those
but
are
now
my
I'm gonna
two.
be going to Colorado, which is
Right.
about a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, I remember being in Colorado and seeing all those damn Texans.
Darn Texans,
They make a lot of noise.
they're a pain in the ass.
They make on the slopes. They make a lot of noise.
Oh, yeah.
Way too much alcohol.
Well, there's that and barbecues and football.
Hmm.
Man, they are big on their football.
It's a religion there.
It is a religion. You're right. You're right. Absolutely right, Paul. Yeah, on Sundays, you can hear crickets because everybody's inside watching football.
Right.
You know, and it's not only just,
Or Friday nights
or Friday, true, yeah, and it's not just pro, it's college.
and high school, right?
Yeah, we watched our grandson play. He's only in the third grade. He was playing in Trenton. He plays from Trenton School there. And you should see the crowd that showed up for their.
No, it's crazy.
Oh, they're in it. They're in it to win it, you know, so.
So if you haven't, Robert Caro's Lyndon Johnson biography, which he won the Pulitzer for his third book,
Yeah,
is a phenomenal.
Don't move anything, it's one.
Can I move? I'm better when I move. But if you want a great assessment, especially the first two volumes by Robert Caro, Caro, well worth it if you're living in Texas these days.
okay, all right.
One's called The Path to Power, but it really takes in a lot of what's happening in Texas, you know, during that pre and post World War II era. It's really a brilliant book.
Now we're just seeing growth
Yeah.
and maybe not in a good way.
Well,
But-
the thing is, I mean, the lack of building codes, the lack of zoning, has come back to haunt a lot of people. You look at the major storm in Houston,
Oh, for Hurricane Katrina.
you know, not Katrina, and I responded to Katrina.
Yeah, our USAR team was on.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all hands on deck.
I was in the New Orleans EOC for a week or so. It was a mess.
No doubt.
It was a mess. In fact, at a certain point, I said, I think you better send me home because I might choke somebody.
I've actually heard that.
And the only group that had their act together there was the Coasties. One of the reasons is because they had, at that point, they had adopted ICS in earnest. And so they weren't dicking around. So I was on the original Fire Scope group that developed the hazmat module.
Oh, were you in the scope group?
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
So
Man, Paul,
that was
you got a huge resume.
yeah. Well, as they say, between 3 and 5 years, I'm gonna piss somebody off.
So if you do, that means you're doing something, right?
I like to think so, but other people might not agree with you.
Well, I'll let you do your thing. You're setting up.
No, I think I'm good.
See, it's 11:30 in Texas.
Yep. My wife is winging her way to Denver. Well, actually, Baltimore via Denver this morning.
Oh, is she? I'm gonna be skiing at Crested Butte this season.
Should be getting there.
I've skied there before in Breckenridge.
I'm-
That's about 10-hour drive from our house, but
I've never seen, well, from you got Durango or Telluride.
yeah, oh yeah.
Telluride, that place kick your ass.
It will.
That's one hell of a skier.
A lot of diamonds, a lot of diamonds.
Yeah, but they added a very extensive, you know, non-expert area.
Mm.
But the original part is you stick your skis out over a bump,
Yeah.
look over the spiral stairs.
Yeah.
And you look down into town 3,000 vertical feet.
Really?
I mean, I was there in like the mid-70s going.
I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, not with my knee.
Right, but they've got a lot of really beautiful spots, and then but you got Durango that's, you know, that's closer to that whole area.
Durango is nice, even the area is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like undiscovered.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Very good.
I'll let you guys get ready for your operational period here.
yeah.
Talk later.
Yep.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I gotta run. I got another noon meeting, so yep. Story of my life.
See, guy.
Yeah. I go, wait, I'm as busy now as I was when I was working. What's the story here? Mhm.
So anyway, I'll let you do your thing, Paul.
Very good.
Seven from Sam.
So Karen, what's up with you?
Got 8 people shot yesterday and I'm like, wow,
Oh yeah, which old prison shot?
shingle.
Okay,
They told me that my arm would be growing,
and it is,
and it is, and then I would have like symptoms.
and you do.
So it's like, yay, but that and pneumonia.
Yeah, I did the two rounds, because I had the earlier singles, and then I had the later singles too. Yeah, I did the round.
Oh, go ahead.
Good.
Do you know if Mark's showing up? Because I haven't seen Mark in a long time.
Egbert,
Yeah.
I hope so, because I have a really snarky thing to say about him. Yeah, I say, he's the runner-up in the Martin Meadows lookalike contest. If you, I'm watching the news, they show. It's Mark Egbert's like older brother.
Oh, my. No,
In fact, I should,
how. $5,000. So she's blowing through them.
yeah, looks good.
Have to get a Firewise map of all the Firewise communities for their community. Okay, but I've got some of them.
Okay.
You cover them.
Okay.
I'll leave it.
Okay, it's 9:30. Let's get this show rolling.
Oh, I see.
Hey. Good morning. I'm Ken Pimblott. Oh no. Ken and Janet are out of town and they're trying to find the best person to chair the meeting. They couldn't find that person, so you got me instead. I'm Paul Penn, and I'm going to try and get through this meeting as quickly and efficiently as possible. And Hugh's here to hit me if I do something stupid. So hit me now. Please remember to sign in, and we don't have a flag. Where's our flag?
Good question. So which agenda are we using? Because two went out, one went out a day before. The one that came out latest was a short one and did not have the project reports, section 10.
I believe the one that I am looking at has the project report. So we will be working on that. And if you need to add or subtract anything to the agenda, we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's imagine that we have a flag someplace. Well, he was looking for it. Okay, everyone please rise and face you. Are we ready? Go. I pledge allegiance. United States of America. To the republic. Stands one nation. Indivisible. With liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, so as Chris indicated, we will be using the agenda. I believe one went out previously, and that was rescinded, and we'll be working the one that does have the project reports on it. Okay, so can I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda? Okay, any second? Okay, any discussion? Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, move second carried and so ordered. Okay. I'm making this happen. Okay, I've done this before. Consent agenda, any issues on the consent agenda? Chris? Just figured I'd go to you first. No.
The last meeting, that's the only thing of consent that I see.
Okay.
So,
The August, correct.
no, we did the agenda thing.
Yeah. You two work it out, okay? Okay. We're good with the consent agenda? Any additions, deletions, anything you want to pull? Okay, let me entertain a motion, please. Second. Okay, Any discussion? Okay, well, signify by saying aye. Okay, any opposed? Okay, move second and carried, so ordered. Very good. I am. I got things to do today. New business, just the only thing I'd like to mention is at 1 o'clock today, Alice will be doing a technical session on decks and vents. I highly encourage everyone to attend. She'll go into more detail during her presentation. And we are recording this. Any old business? Okay, moving right along. Chairman's report. Well, he's in Europe, having a much better time than we are right now. The only thing I have here is from the California Fair Plan, everyone's favorite item, is there's actually a checklist for discounts that's available now. So if you don't have that, I will pass this around just for people to take a look at. But there's a checklist. I won't go into the individual items, but the topics are wildfire hardening requirements for immediate surrounding discounts, wildfire hardening requirements for structure discounts, wildfire hardening requirements for community discounts. So, yes,
I assume you got,
Behind me.
I assume you got that on the, off the internet, can you send it out so we know how to send it out to people?
Well,
Carrie, can you
yeah,
do that?
we can send it out, but we actually got it from Aurora. And if you look at that carefully, it becomes effective on December. And the three groups, the way they're laid out there, you have to meet everything in each group in order to get that discount. And I think the total amount of discount you can get if you meet all of them is somewhere around between 15.5% and 19.5%.
It's 10% for the fair and 15% for the rest of it, 5% for festival space, 5% for home hardening, and then 5% for the community values that you can't do anything with, where your slope of your house is, access, other things that you don't have control over.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
So in other words, there are some discounts available starting December 1, and we'll still figure it out as time goes on. All right?
No, let me clarify. There are discounts available now for like Firewise and that.
Yeah.
But that's the new one.
Okay.
We're doing our,
Excuse me, Karen, go ahead.
when we're doing our assessments, we're handing out the new workbooks,
Mhm.
putting the application for those discounts in that booklet and letting them know too. So
Very good.
really a good idea to let your community know about that.
Okay. Chris?
FYI. Green, yellow, red. Governor says that we're in red on the insurance, homeowners insurance. We're in the red zone, meaning that they're looking for something from the legislature to help us by the end of the year.
Good to know. Take the Reds, man. Okay. And this is a segue into the vice chair's report.
Okay. Okay, I've been continuing with all the meetings I do. Just so you know, the defensible space ordinance, that's about ready to go. We're reaching out now to some of the stakeholders. We'll have a meetings later this month with the insurance folks. We're planning to submit that to the board for the first reading the last half of October, whenever their board meeting is. And assuming, hopefully, if everything goes good and we don't need to do anything else, they'll adopt it at that point. They have to have, and it'll go out for comment for 14 days. They'll come back. If everything's good, they'll vote it through. Our anticipation, and I put that word in quotes, is that ordinance hopefully will be effective December 1st. What we did is we didn't amend the old ordinance. We amended the heck out of it, but the way it'll work, we'll just delete the old ordinance and adopt a new one. It's easier to do it that way than just go in and say, we're going to change all these sections. So that's what's going on with that. Jeff Hogue will be here. I was assured later. He'll talk a little bit more about the outreach group. I still meet also with the FPOs. They're moving forward and with their stuff and their changes and all the stuff for the new codes. defensible space assessments. I had some good news last month. The total for assessments by the Fire Safe Council was 89. And Terry told me this morning for the month of August, the total number of assessments was 118. So it's kicking up. Everybody did good. We encourage you to do that and continue with that. And we look forward to that. Different groups are making assessment forms. I know Rancho del Sol, they've been working like crazy on their form. They've got a really good one. For now, I mean, all of these forms, of course, everybody has their own, but and you can do that. I encourage you to do that for now. And that's really all I have, other than, you know, and Alice will talk about her thing later. So that's it for me.
Very good. Thank you, you. Any questions for you? And sorry.
You have to press the button.
Yeah.
It's on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, Karen?
Okay, so the only thing that I really have this time is we submitted all the councils to our insurance company. So it's just renewed for our new year is 9/29, I believe. So anyone that has meetings held at certain places or events going on, you're going to have to ask for a new certificate of insurance because we just renewed. Again, so your old certificate, people are gonna look at it and go, wait, we're not covered. I also just want to remind everyone that is one benefit of being an associate council is that El Dorado County does pay for individual fire safe council. We pay a flat rate per council and we also pay for the number of events that you submit. So we need to be grateful for that because as we all know, insurance is outrageously expensive. So reach out to me if you need a new certificate of insurance for your events or your meetings. That's it.
Okay,
Thanks, Karen.
Alice?
Karen, when things are held here, like. See the church into.
Do we have coverage here already where we have a policy that in fact covers anything that we do? Yes, so next Friday is the last day that will happen, so I need to put in a new request for us, so. Yeah, but you're good tonight.
Okay, so the take home here is that we need new request forms for meetings going in the future, including regular fire safe council meetings, correct? Very good. Okay, they were noted. Okay, any questions for Karen? Treasurer's report, since Janet is also in Europe, seems though Americans are invading Europe again. That the two key things are our operations sheet that went out in the email with the packet and the update on our grants. Just a note and is are people liking the new table with all the grants, the way it's set up, the way it's kind of been reorganized this way? I don't know about you, I'm not good at this stuff, so this is helpful for me. But any questions on the treasurer's report? Okay, David.
I'm not quite sure how the budget is done, if that's just done by the executive committee, but I did notice one of the items is over 400% spent. It's a small item. And so probably that one item should be revisited in the budget by those who make the budget. Because obviously you're going to spend even more than 400% by the end of the year.
It's printing and reproduction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what a lot of it is. And you're right, David. And we have talked about that. We are looking into that and saying, okay, what we're trying to plan, you know, what we want to do. For example, like the workbook, we didn't really plan that. That was just a thing off, you know, we came up with the idea, said, let's print one of them for the county. you know, so, we hadn't, didn't have.
Use of money and I
Yeah,
approve of that.
But that's why it happens. We try to get better. We try to get better as we go forward and things change. But yeah, you're exactly right, David. And thanks for bringing that up.
District meeting just want me solved, is the executive committee that makes the decisions on the budget going into each year. Because I don't remember. We do. We got
The board, yeah.
Wow. We probably did as a blanket. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the budget?
Well, the only other thing that I would bring up, and I know Ken brought it up last month, and probably everybody in this room knows that, but we were a recipient of the $500,000 grant from the State Fire Safe Council. Good. That's going over into the defensible space work over there. And we continue, just so you do know, we're continue to look for more possibilities to put more money in those programs, the 3 programs that we have. So we want to continue to build those.
Very good. Any other questions on the budget?
I tried to report be accepted.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
I have a question.
Yes.
What budget is is there a digital application for this and is that accounted for in the budget?
Hugh.
Yes, there is. In fact, I gave David a copy on a thumb drive. He's got it in his hot little hand right now.
Is it just a digital file or is it an application that you can fill things out online?
No, it's a PDF. It's just that document itself.
Okay, thank you.
And if you need a copy, let me know, or David may want to may share.
Are there others that would like a copy of the workbook? Digitally? It's on the website. Carrie says that it's on the website. People been checking out the website, looking pretty good these days. Yeah, so vast improvements, and I know a lot of work went into that. So, but that's off the topic. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Move second carried and so ordered. Yeah, got through the administrivia. Now let's get to the real stuff here. So we've got our partners reports with BLM. Jason. There you're on.
Mediation period, basically what that is, it opens up any GLM parcel in the state, so it covers kind of basically all the WUI zones, high severity and very high severity in western Nevada. Kind of opens it up to kind of a streamlined NEPA process. So if anybody is looking on getting any fuels reduction work done on BLM land, it basically opens up. It's a big streamlined process for them. It encompasses the whole parcel. So it differs from the HRBM that we're using in Campbell Park on Pine Hill Reserve, where that's 200 feet from kind of the private federal boundary. Fuels PA, it encompasses the whole parcel. We're really hoping that partners like fire state councils and RCPs, if there is any work that they're looking to do on BLM land, that kind of fast-tracks that process.
And is there is there available budget from BLM to do work on their own property? I'm shocked. I'm just shocked. Yeah. Yeah.
Individual councils, but through the state and fire state council, a big portion of BLM's budget goes into that. Kind of funding those grants and funding those agreements. That's just the way it is.
And does this also include the Bureau of Reclamation grant properties of which you have an agreement with to help manage, or is it only BLM land itself? Okay, very good.
They're also working on the defensible space fact sheet. I think we've talked about that a couple times in these meetings. Basically what that is, it gives property owners, homeowners, individual homeowners, the ability to go on the BLM land and clear 200 feet onto BLM. Again, that doesn't come. Kind of puts this chip on. There is some stipulations that, homeowners, individual homeowners are clearing their property first before they start complaining about BLM property, so it's kind of a 1-2 punch. They gotta clear their property, and they kind of need, kind of give the okay for them to do whatever it needs to be done. So Ken did not ask if we could put out a fact sheet. We're kind of working on that. We are dealing with capacity issues in BLM right now. Our fire program, I think we're probably 70% vacancy rate right now. It's probably gonna get a little worse, truthfully. We're getting ready to get a big pay cut, as part of the infrastructure package. There was a little bit of pay bump for a lot of the issue level. That goes away, I think. So we're dealing with labor short, and I think it's only gonna get worse here in the next.
Okay, so there's a new career for anyone that's interested as a wildland firefighter. Yeah.
Training, development, the workforce we have tied up.
Okay, who do we talk to about rescinding that? Congratulations. When do you leave?
Heading up the defense space program. I'm around until Monday. My job starts officially, and then I'll be kind of filling in unofficially just because we do have so many things across the board. So for the next couple of months, I'll be kind of in and out for field doctors talking about.
Okay, well, congratulations, and please make sure we have your cell number.
Yeah. I just want to thank David. He's been a huge advocate for our fire crew. We have all veterans fire crew out of Placerville, California. I was the first veterans crew in California. We don't have barracks for those guys. I actually ran the crew for 7 years, so it's a pretty personal issue for me. David Zielinski, every chance he gets, he kind of pushes the button about barracks and housing. I was in the Cameron Park meeting a couple months ago, and I saw him kind of prodding Tom McClintock about it. And on a bright note, we were able to get those guys in the house. So it's pretty awesome.
Very good.
The issue we're facing, it's kind of one issue, but it's also, the federal government's way of fighting fire and taking care of the firefighters. It's 30, 40 years behind the time frame. With that, you guys tell you in El Dorado County, we start our firefighters out at basically minimum wage, just to be able to afford housing around here. They're kind of locked out of the housing market. So advocacy, coming through this fire safe council, that's kind of where it starts. You guys have to, a lot of important people and make a lot of important decisions. So we appreciate it.
As we all appreciate David. We call him Tenacious Zielinski.
I'm glad to hear he pushes other buttons too. I'm glad
Yeah, he's an equal opportunity button pusher. Okay, any other questions for Jason? And again, good luck to you, and we hope to make sure all that stuff of the state, you always keep us in mind. Okay, great. CAL FIRE, Megan.
so there.
You got any questions for Megan? David?
Oh, I just want to give a shout out to Donnie Cribbett, who helped get us into the essential to have that handful.
Oh, great. I'm glad, and we'll pass that on.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for CAL FIRE? Thank you. And even though I'm on a fast pace, please don't feel rushed. I want to, get full reports and full interaction. But, okay, so is Sue or anyone else from, OWOPR here? Hey,
Richie.
Richie. So grab a mic or come on down.
Walker. We don't have much to report at the current, as Steve stated, we are going for our first reading of the new ordinance in October on the 24th. So hopefully that goes smoothly, we can get this ordinance rolling sooner rather than later, because we have some issues we would like to address within the office that we can drop. Additionally, I'm glad you mentioned Captain Privet over at CAL FIRE. I am the West Slope Regional Coordinator for FireWise now, so I was going to be sending out a mass email to all the communities, pending or otherwise, introducing myself and stating if anybody has any questions, concerns, or needs help moving along with their processes, please let me know and I will help you to the best of my abilities, as well as I was going to give a friendly reminder that if your community is coming up for renewal, you have until November, so that the renewal process is coming up here shortly. That is all I have to report to the office, and lots of questions, which I didn't get.
Board of Supervisors met yesterday. There was an agenda item on OES. Did you follow that discussion? I didn't know if OWOPR was part of that effort. I'm referring to the additional staff that were added to OES. I believe it was administration. I got a full-time equivalent, and then I believe there's a MOU with the El Dorado Hills Fire Protection District or a battalion chief to be part of that team and reporting to was it Lieutenant Morton or something? Is that correct?
I've heard cursory talks at my level, however, that's more towards my supervisor's level, so I'm personally not involved in those talks.
And so, but for all of us that weren't there, the Board of Supervisors committed budgetarily for these additional the MOU and also the additional administration for OES. And then the compliments that I heard were wide related to how OES has come up to the challenge and the future effectiveness dependent upon all of us, including the fire safe, the Associate Fire Safe Council. So I just wanted to report, hopefully we're going to hear more about this. That was my comment.
Thank you. Good. And David, you had a question for OWOPR, I remember. Sorry.
First of all, Richard Bell.
Yeah.
I apologize, I talked. My lips are slow, so we're doing that. Okay. And Richard, just clarify my grade on Weber Creek. Is it the federal OES that's going to come out with 23.5 million? And the county and state have the rest of the 25 million for matching, or how, do you know how that's? I apologize, I don't have the answer for you. I can find out with your contact information and I can get that answer for you. Okay, yes.
Good response.
Help me on that, I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, Elizabeth?
The mapping program that Ken talked about at the last meeting, I've been interacting with somebody in that program to get the Sandwich Fire Safe Council boundaries sorted out. They're a little messy on one end, and I just want to say it's been a very good process. I mean, a very good. I think it's an amazing tool if you guys have developed that. And I just had a question going forward. One activity we were thinking about doing in our Fire Safe Council was trying to map the water resources and gates, locked gates that maybe need Knox locks and things like that for access. And if there's a way to integrate that in this with this mapping, or if you do a layer Anyway, that's kind of where we're thinking next. Make that easy for you.
Yeah, that could be a definite layer, that was something when you take our GIS team, we can add layers for certain aspects here or there. If you have comments, definitely, on the mapping page, you can submit comments for additional layers or changes to the to that map in specific, so. By all means, please go on there, we haven't gotten a lot of comments, so we just assume people like it, or people have heard about it. So definitely go try out the map. If you have suggestions or stuff you would like to see on it, please fill out that feedback. We want to know what people want to see. So we need your guys to help to know the information we need to get out there.
David's back question.
Okay.
Right.
David?
Both the overall water agency have a lot of mapping tools, and Dan Bolster and the Transportation Commission have a lot of tools for evacuation mapping and things. So those things are live and available, so we could coordinate with everybody to maybe get that all done. Yes, we were working with the water district to get this map. That's where it all began. They helped us pretty significantly get that one. And Dan Bolster for the evacuation. Yes.
Right.
Renewal for Firewise, I believe was November 18th is the deadline for renewal for applications. You're still in the process of applying for Firewise. That doesn't apply to you, but if you're your 5-year limit, that's where you're gonna start your application process, new assessments.
Okay. Other questions for Richard? And your resource for Firewise is sitting behind you. So thank you very much. And, you know, again, we're really looking forward to that Weber Creek project among others. So thank you very much. Anything else for Richard? Not, let's move on to fire chiefs. Do we have someone from the fire chiefs? They're all over there in the meetings. Same thing with, FPOs? Well, it's gonna be a short meeting. Okay, El Dorado National Forest, we have a representative from the forest. They're all in the meeting over there. Hey, let's hijack them and come back over here. And the RCD. Who might be the RCD? Hey, Maya.
In the FA50 and then we've got helicopter operations still in progress with the Sierra Tahoe. They're trying to get as much wood volume off of the mountain so they can reopen the mountain this year. I don't know what the status of that is. Mark has the details of that. For South County project, the ERC surveys are done, and then working with the Sierra Conservancy to get more funding for additional planning to supplement CWPT efforts. And then just for whole projects, the RCD is working on right now. Our highlight is the Watershed Education Summit that's coming up next week, where we partner with the Forest Service and Ag in Classroom to educate high school students on watershed assessment and management. And we're really excited about it. It's great to get off again. And then one comment to you, Richard. At the council meeting this morning, a question came up about if we are able to look on a mapping interface somewhere and see our Firewise community out.
We are currently working on that. I spoke with Captain Privet regarding the putting on that information. We are going to be adding a Firewise layer to the current existing map that we have on our website, as well as we're changing a little bit of some of the requirements to help make sure that we know exactly which APNs and which parcels are in a Firewise community, so it's not such a gray area. So we're looking for improvements here. You know, they brought that up.
Yeah. Certainly have an interest in understanding their Firewise community status and for using the certificate to extend their data. But
Thanks, Maya. Oh, wait. Run, Maya, run.
I am not a fire state council, but we have a Firewise. And we cover, there's 3 Firewise communities in Pollock Pines, but the map only shows 1 star. And so we cover everybody that's not in the other one, which is darn near the 2,500 limit. So the big thing with us is that we keep getting asked to send everybody certificates. Is there any way to put it on the website, making it very clear to agents that it's up to them to not get the certificate, because it makes no sense that whoever's a part of a Firewise application process shouldn't have to give out 2,500 certificates to anybody who asks, and that's the only way to do it. They just need to be clarified through the agents that they can look it up through the map or through the name of the Firewise community. I push that heavily up there, but still get people who are saying that their agent is requiring them to get a certificate.
Yeah, currently, the only way to verify that is with the certificate. We're trying to help kind of circumnavigate that a little bit with that. So when people come to us with their Firewise community maps, we're gonna also try and get a list of APNs, so there's no question of are you in or are you not, it's here's the map, here's where you are, you're in or you're not.
Yeah, because the idea that a community has to know who is the keeper of the certificate is ridiculous.
Right, and I know we get those questions before, I know Captain Burdick gets those questions as well, so, excuse me. Usually he contacts the community leader first with their contact information, and he doesn't do anything on it. So, we're definitely trying to help mitigate some of those issues.
I have just a little comment on that too. Some fire state councils or Firewise communities, they have a website like Arlen Trails, for example. They post their certificate to that website, so property owners or members of the community can go and download the certificate and get it to their agent directly. Maybe it would be beneficial. And I don't know what the rules of this or whatever, but if you do own an APN within the Firewise community area, you can download it from the website or something. I don't know, but if you
Yeah, we
don't have
post on Facebook, but now that I'm not a fire state council anymore, there's no funding in Firewise, so we do not have a website. That our only tool is Facebook. And then so many people, because I live in an area that's very old, they do not use computers. So, that's why I'm pushing that the agents go to the website to see if people are covered or not.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's what we're gonna try and do. We're gonna try and help mitigate some of that. But we still can't give out public information or personal information when we do that map layer, so there may still be some reaching out regarding that, so that's something, I'll take that back to the office and see how we can work through that.
And I thought after the meeting about getting all our recognized, all our 3 stars recognized on the map with the 3 fire safety communities involved.
Yes, I can speak with
Hey, Chris?
Well, it seems like this is an unusual situation. It may occur in the future, it may not occur. I was wondering if you could explain to me how you can have a Firewise area and not have an associate fire safety council
Separate
area. No, but your background is that you had the associate fire safety council area, which was Pollock. Was it Pollock Camino at one time, or what was the story on that?
Hold, there, you got it.
morphing the area was doing.
What was it called at the time that I?
Well, when we first had it was Pollock Mino, and at that time, Firewise allowed you to do that. Firewise now limits the amount of people to 2,500 or households 2,500. So it's changed throughout the years, but the Firewise program, you do not have to be a fire safe council. You just have to do you can have as small as 15 households to be a Firewise community.
Okay.
So the program is a national program that is not connected to fire safe councils. Fire safe councils have actually bought into that program. So you have to look at it very separately. So like for some.
No, I
sites,
understand.
There's Firewise communities within the area that I once covered totally.
No, I understand. I, to the county's perspective, this is unusual, in my mind, an unusual situation for us, the El Dorado County.
Well, my
Fire
Firewise doesn't have anything to do with your county.
No, I completely understand that, but a lot of the people that are newer, that have newer fire safe councils have gone for their Firewise, have obtained it, but have still both
Right,
the fire safe council and the
right,
Firewise. In your situation, that is not true.
correct.
Okay, I just wanted to set Paul the understanding.
That these are separate, but often have the same goals in their communities, but they're separate organizations. Thank you, Heather. Other questions? Yes, sorry.
Just as I was pulling up on my cell phone here, NFPA site, and Richard, this is for you. There's a list of all of the fire safety councils by state. And so that might be a method by which to help garner information associated with areas that are Firewise communities.
Yes, we're aware of that site and I have access to everyone's sites as well as their contact information through NFPA. Some communities didn't provide accurate map.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's NFPA Firewise.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually got the. Certain communities gave us very accurate maps, so we know exactly who's where, and some of them is just a Google map screenshot of an area, and that doesn't show who's in, who's out, so that's something we're looking to rectify, but yes, we're utilizing the NFPA Firewise site, and like I said, I have logins to all that information.
Very good. And to kind of build on what Elizabeth, mentioned, after the North Fire, one of the things that we here at Diamond Springs were looking at was those lock gates and the, alternate manners of egress that are viable, but are, you're encountering a lock gate. So, that may be something really to look into as part of the evacuation project, the SO, and the mapping. So we're all looking for multiple ways to get out of town if you got it. So thank you very much for your presentation. Okay. Next item is with SMUD. Do you have a SMUD rep?
Next one.
Okay, moving right along. PG&E. Not here. Moving right along. And I see a representative of the SL in the back.
Well, I've got people out there when looking for Eldorado trip on the honestly OAS. Just be there. Third in line. Earlier. Yeah, the board of supervisors just approved 2 more slots for OES.
We've looked at it in the past 20 to 30 years, we've had the same staffing, 5 people in OES. So we put together some projects and there's some ideas out there that, you know, having that trifecta of somebody from the fire service, somebody from the law enforcement service, and somebody from the civilian side of it is sort of the what we do brought into the, so they'll have kind of a 3-pronged approach and OES. That was the thought process behind getting more staff.
Thank you.
As far as what we're doing right now, we're working on local hazard mitigation plans. You guys don't know the LHMP is something that we pretty versatile because of being disasters. We're working on contractors getting that project together and up and running and hopefully having it done. Probably be good. 2025. So, but that's kind of the big thing in our office right now is with the staffing measure and getting that up and approved. And it will be a chief officer from Eldorado Hills Fire. Will be coming in and working in the
Very good. Questions for the SO? And as someone who ran a local, a county emergency management for a number of years, having a multidisciplinary approach is always, you know, an improvement. And most of those local hazard mitigation plans are guaranteed to put you to sleep very quickly. There's a lot of information, but you got to pull out all the boilerplate and find out what's real. But you know, I think as we look toward our updating the, you know, working on the county wildlife protection plan, just trying to make sure that they're substantive, not just you know, compliant. So very good. Any other questions for the SO?
With the civilian representation, is that just someone at large in the community? Is it someone that's fire experience, like on a fire city council at the county level?
It's something with qualification of admin analyst, which is through county HR.
So, okay, so don't know.
So, yeah, whoever can apply for that meets qualifications.
Okay, and then the next question with the inclusion of the you said battalion chief from Hills Fire?
Yes, it was Italian.
Yeah, is that something that's gonna rotate throughout all the fire agencies, or is it locked in with a lot of those?
I don't think there's gonna be any kind of rotation. I think it's locked in for now. I don't know what the future looks like.
It pertains to the memorandum of understanding that they county had with El Dorado Hills Fire Protection District specifically. So when you ask about rotation, I guess from a perspective of if there was an additional memorandum that was with El Dorado or El Dorado County Fire, that would then lead to a possible situation like you're describing, a rotational basis. But I didn't hear that yesterday at the board meeting in discussion. It was pertained specifically to this memorandum of understanding with El Dorado Hills Fire Protection District.
Right, and I'm assuming that has to do with the agreement that Hills is performing the defensible space.
No, it was completely separate, Paul. It was not related to the defensible space agreement, which, yes, you're right, that they have in place already.
Okay.
This was an additional memorandum of understanding. And anybody that wants to go to the Board of Supervisors, Legistar, can see that yesterday's agenda. It was under Department Matters, I believe.
Good. Paul, you had another question? You good?
No, those are the two.
Okay, good. Any other questions for the SO? Thank you very much. Okay, next agency is Bureau of Rec. Do we have a Bureau of Reclamation here? Moving right along. And now we'll do program reports. So Tamara couldn't be here. She had a family emergency. But just I think our grant programs are going swimmingly, as they say. And you know, just want to make sure we're not victims of our own success, because we have been very successful. As Hugh indicated, we did get the $500,000 from the State Fire Safe Council on defensible space, and that we will put to good use. And now I think it's for the Jessica show.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, I've got tons of numbers for you today. All right, so for the month of August, for our chipping program, we did. Oh, wait, is that June? Oh, no, is that right? Let me just make sure this is right. August 2023, because it says 140 jobs. Oh, yeah, no, we did 140 jobs for the month of August.
Very well done.
Few community events. I think that's what contributed to the amount. You know, we went a little over our projected monthly budget, but we're technically under budget. So we spent about 50 grand for chipping for the month of August, which has brought us to about 1,200 acres we've cleared for the year.
Wow.
And that's a total of 566 jobs that have been completed for the year, and which has brought us to about $227,000 total for 2023. For
How much was that? 200?
227,000 spent on just chipping for the year 2023. That's cumulative. I also track the in-kind match for our grant purposes, you know, so we were projected to planned in-kind was 288, and we've actually matched it at 403. So we're doing pretty well.
So $450,000 value of labor, is that what you're saying?
Yes, equivalent based off the volunteer California rate of $29.95 an hour. Okay. Moving on. Defensible space. Okay. For the month of August, we got 30 new jobs were requested. We completed 57. We had 64 still in process. 10 of those were awaiting evaluations. 54 of those were waiting to be contracted. Only 11 jobs were closed, which brings us to a total of 178 jobs completed for the year. 50 closed. $160,000 has been spent on just the jobs. With evaluation funding, it's been a total of $180,000 has gone to defensible space for the year. And yeah, because we've accepted 300 jobs so far for the year. So we're doing good. We've got a lot. Things are starting to move faster. I know that before when we started, we were experiencing a slinky. We've shortened it down to like a 30 to 60 day average turnaround rate. And so our contractors are pushing the jobs out quicker, and they're actually demanding more jobs. I just assigned them. I do rotations. I just assigned them a month ago, and they want more already. So we're moving fast.
How many contractors do we currently have?
We have 4 contractors doing the clearing and 2 evaluators.
Okay, thank you.
Jessica, I did the wish list. So for fire wise, if we could have a report by location, so in other words, so much was done in Bosco South, or so much was done in Sandridge, for the dollars and the hours, then we could use that to help document for our Firewise reports also. So we know where the jobs were done and the dollars or volunteer hours, whatever.
I can vaguely answer and I could get more specific with you after the meeting, but to kind of generalize that for everybody, right now, we have been operating on a manual system where I put all the information onto an Excel spreadsheet. The information that I have, I can categorize it by zip code and I can give you just that information. You're gonna have to differentiate whether or not it falls within your Firewise.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, and then, but I know that certain information, I will exclude like personal information, but that's something we can determine after the meeting.
Yeah, and David, if you could like write up what you're looking for and maybe we can discuss the board, you know, see if we can accommodate that. Thank you. Exactly.
What color is that button?
Right. Okay, Ernie, you had a question?
The fire safe council or fire wise area, because like the Placerville zip code, it goes all the way up to Pleasant Valley, so. I would be cautious in using zip codes as a mean, so.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just letting you know, I don't have it currently mapped out on anything. We have not progressed to that level yet, which is something I have been working on in the background, trying to get an ArcGIS mapping system. You know, for defensible space, it's just a little above our level at the moment, but we are trying to get there. The best I could offer you is zip code and you having to figure it out on your own, because I'm unaware of exactly where everybody's individual boundaries are, and I don't have the time to break it down for you. So if that's something you're interested in, I could help.
Yeah, well, what, yeah, if it's not, you know, an immediate need again, if David could put that in and we can see if we can figure it out working with what Old Whopper's got or some other way, to make that data, you know, available to everyone.
Okay, and then, if.
Informal communications. But you're not on Alice. Oh, you are, sorry.
No, so what we have, what I've established that we are currently trying to switch it over to online. And what I've established with our IT tech is a defensible space survey. And so part of the survey is going to ask, you know, how'd you hear about us? What would you do without us? You know, how has this been helpful? And every survey will be attached to the individual job file.
Super. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then finally, hazardous tree. We have approved 51 parcels for work. On those 51 parcels, 99 trees have been identified for removal. 22 parcels have been denied. 14 parcels are pending assessments. Our MBG, who's kind of operating that program for us, they have officially cut off the deadline of accepting RFPs for contractors as of last night, meaning that they will announce which contractors they have awarded for tree excavation next week. And hopefully trees will start being cut down by the 1st of October.
Very cool.
Hopefully.
I have I'm still confused on whether or not, do they just drop the trees? They don't remove them?
Right.
Yeah, we do not remove them. So the homeowner has the options of having them stacked in logs or rounds, I believe.
Okay.
And as for the brush and whatnot, that will be chipped. I think we're going to suggest to each individual homeowner to sign up for the chipping program, or they do it already. Okay, they do it already.
Okay. I just didn't want to give inaccurate information.
Yeah.
Very good.
Homeowners. Where possible, and so far. Homeowners need to know that, when you're just talking to people, that where possible, the rounds or the logs will be stacked 30 feet away from the house, and so far,
Zone 2.
all of the parcels have met that, which surprises me.
Yes.
Very good.
And we only got 3. We only got, which I don't know how, with so many tree services, we only got 3 applications. So those 3 applications will be accepted.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Question?
Yeah, if you're done with hazardous trees, just a quick question, is the Title III Green Waste Program still active?
I believe it is.
I don't think we've met the deadline yet.
It is the end of this month
We did, I think he gave us till the end of this month.
to say that you want to do a project and it has to be done by June. Is that by next June? Is that yeah.
Yeah.
So notification to the council that you want to do a project by the end of this month, and then it has to be completed by June 2024. Very good.
Chip. Contact me and I can connect with some of our already contracted chipping companies to see if they can aid you in maybe a cheaper rate for the day of having a chipper available.
Paul?
When
Yeah.
is the application period?
Yesterday.
Oh, that was for the RFP. So you mean for,
Applicants for people on the bus.
so
It's
it's
open.
Ongoing.
open
It's open.
until we run out of funding.
Okay.
And we've only had 3 people so far.
Well,
Sure.
No,
now, yeah.
to cut down the trees.
Okay.
That's for that's for tree excavating. So when we started this program, we guesstimated about 250 applications, and right now we've only serviced about 75. So, you know, when we reach our goal, I would imagine we'll start to stop accepting applications.
Either reach our goal or run out of
So
money.
just to make sure I'm clear. I remember there was a 3rd section on the webpage that talked about where the contractors were being given opportunity to bid, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
the
That
request
was
for
the tree
proposal.
service.
Right.
Right.
And so, but which one of them, because I've got someone in my area very interested in taking advantage of it, but they're confused and so am I.
So if they're no longer accepting bids.
No, for an individual person to have.
Huh. That's it. That's ongoing.
Understand what this is.
Yeah, just come talk to me, because if it's just a resident, then we're still accepting applications and you can access that on our website.
So I think to some clarity, what Jessica was talking about on the RFP is that we're working with MGB or whoever they are, to manage the overall hazard tree program. They in turn had sent out an RFP for tree removal firms to be able to be used for the hazardous tree program. However, individuals that want to access the hazardous tree program, that is an ongoing application. Is that accurate? Very good. Okay. Heather. For the folks at home,
The RFP was distributed, because we should have got at least 8 tree contractors. There's so many here that I'm thinking that whatever methodology we use to do the advertising wasn't as good as what we do for our grants.
So I can answer this simply, it wasn't on us.
Hmm.
NBG is solely responsible to put out their RFP since they are managing the program, and they did not.
I'm
They-
gonna assess blame, I'm gonna assess,
I'm just
you
letting
just need
you
to
know.
know that so the next time we
Right.
have something like that, we work on that.
Well, and I tried to help them and I did put it on our website and I did announce it to the best that we could, you know, but ultimately they have chosen to do their own route for hiring. And that's their choice. And so if they did not receive as many as we would have expected or wanted, that falls on them.
Yeah.
No, but we just need to improve for the next
Mm.
time.
Yeah, and I think that we will stay on top of it so that if the contractors are unable to meet the needs, we will be talking with MBG. Okay, Paul.
How did you go about the bidding process
Mhm.
to ensure that everyone had equal access and opportunity to make the bid? And I'm a firm believer in the transparency, managing the government, the trust, and so forth, that I think our council would have a duty to have some oversight on.
We did.
Okay, Hugh?
Yeah, one of the things we need to talk to them about, and I suspect what happened, since they're running the program, they're responsible for everything in that program. So chances are they got more applications than 3. And they went back through that and culled through that and said, since we're responsible, we don't want this company because we don't want them to drop a tree on a house.
Yesterday, they only received 3. So because we need 3, all 3 will be accepted.
Yeah.
And so the real issue is, we didn't have a selection process because we didn't get enough applicants.
Right.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, I've talked to several of them about our programs, several different tree companies, and everyone I've talked to said, no, we have enough work to do right now. We're not interested. So that's also going on out there.
And I also just want to point out, I have spoken with a lot of contractors and every single one that I have spoken with that were interested, I have directed them to MBG. I've gave them direct contact, direct email, everything. I have done everything I can as the program manager on this end to aid and assist them in getting the people that they need. But you know, I mean, there's only so much I could do, but every resource that I have thrown up at NPT, you know, and if people just weren't, I think we can talk after the meeting and maybe contact them because I have a few suggestions that I think they could have done differently. I think honestly, it's the bid package that they did is where a lot of contractors were not interested.
Okay. So let's see how it shakes out. And if they can do the work, they can do the work. If they can't, we need more contractors. Well, we're gonna get more contractors. Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Jessica? I think just reflecting back like a year ago, how this thing was, you know, all these projects were, you know, not nearly as well dialed as they are now. We're getting people out in the field. We're providing the services to the community, and that's what we're going for. So I've seen a market improvement over the past year, and hopefully it'll just get better. Okay. So, any other questions for Jessica? Okay. Hearing none, we'll turn it over to Alice. Telling us about her great technical session today.
So vision for all people. Spring is open to people who did Jackson and Benson people including newer information than that 2205 document even. It'll also have a couple of slides on the discounts that are coming up and what exactly they entail based on an email from the commissioner's office. So that's where that check came from. But anyway, let's see. And then the other thing was I attended the safety element virtual meeting this week. Did anybody else attend that? Okay,
I should have wanted to.
Safety element. It's going to include evacuation routes. And so I know a lot of us are interested in that, not just our freshman council, but others. And so I would encourage you to get engaged in that process because they have maps out there where they're looking at specific areas. And I know in our area, we think that some were definitely missed. They were important. So just mentioning that. And the last thing I want to mention was based on people who are online, that's why we use this thing. If you put it close to your mouth to Jessica, they can hear. If you step back here, they can't hear.
Hey. It is. So, Mr. Zelinski. Hold it close.
Explain that.
So the general plan, has different elements, like there's the wildlife one you mentioned, and one of them is the safety element. And in the past, those haven't included evacuation. Time it does, because the FEMA, I think, requires the state to do this, so I'll jump in here, he knows more about this than I do.
You got it.
Anyway. Prepare for an 8-year plan.
Periodically. Okay. I know, Chris, you gotta have something to say. He's a planning commissioner and he's Chris.
We look at the general plan and the zoning related to whether or not it meets it. If it doesn't, then it takes an amendment as part of the application, which is more money. In this case, Alice is right. Some of the general plan responsibility has not been fully implemented. And there's an attempt now to do that, which then makes our job at the planning commission much easier. I thought it was very important because we've been talking about the amnesty program, which is code enforcement violation identified, which the county is now tracking with, I believe, 6 inspectors, where at one time they had 1. This is a big deal. And I was wondering about the filters, the ventilation. The fact is, we need to know more about this, I guess, because the planning commissioners could make that an obligation and not just be well, if you want to do it, you can do it kind of thing. And so that's my comment. That's the reason why this is so important, and Alice should obviously keep track of this and get this information to us.
Call your fellow planning commissioners, have her come here at 1 o'clock today. Right. Oh, the chair of the meeting, slap that guy. Okay. Oh, good. Chew. Yeah. Is it significant? Otherwise, you can just talk with Carrie. Okay, thank you. Okay, and again, you know, Elizabeth, sorry, Jason's head is in the way.
Ended. Think about getting something together with people want interested in that. So there's both the landscaping contractors and then the home gardening contractors, and kind of the other side of that coin is I've had a lot of residents contacting me. Say Don, or let's come up with the decking. They want to redo their deck. Where can I find this?
Yeah.
And a couple actually contacted me trying to find local sources for, there's like aluminum extruded decking with, anyway, that's only available that we can figure out, like via mail order from Alabama and ship. So to kind of have a, be able to put together a group or committee or something to talk to some of our local building suppliers, so we can get more, you know, good rated materials for people to use around, so they can find it more easily and reduce the friction of getting. A lot of people want to do the work, they can't get materials.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Let's start a committee. Anybody else wants to join it, join it. Especially with the discounts now that are coming out for insurance, people are really even more interested than they were before. And there was, I'm sorry, one more thing about education. And that's that on September 29th, there's an event in Placerville, on Veterans Stand Down.
Oh, yes.
And they're possible if we need another volunteer. Ernie's gonna be helping with that, and so if anybody's interested in helping with that, let us know.
Great.
It's providing information to veterans and that they learn about lots of things.
9 to 3 at the Veterans Memorial Buildings, and it's 29 and 30.
Okay, so September 30, 29th and 30th, 9 to 3 at the Veterans Memorial Building, Glassville Drive. Okay, very good. And I really like, the point Elizabeth made is if we can really get the landscape and building contractors in this community up to speed with this. I was talking to some folks and talking about like, eaves and vents and stuff like that, and they're going, huh? So I think it would be a really great thing and maybe, to look forward down the road. So thank you very much. Other questions for Alice? Okay, so while we have here Chief Hoag, just segueing into the outreach side of OWOPR, someone grab him a mic. Here. Pick a mic, any mic. You got it.
I don't know if you have the ability, Paul, to bring up the OWOPR's website.
We'll see.
That's the OWOPR group working through there. We have a calendar up there. I'll give you a second to bring it up.
It's not my computer, so
It's
okay.
Short of it is, there's a bunch of resources on there. So there's about home hardening, defensible space, all those types of things that are on there. We have some information from like OES as far as like getting hooked up to Brave, and there's also a calendar that we're publishing on the website as well. So if you guys want to know like what events are coming up and where folks are going to be, that's going to be posted there on the calendar on the OWOPR. There you go.
Yeah.
Where do you wanna go?
Down, 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 and then public outreach.
Okay.
That tab there. And so these are all all the things that we have available for, again, fire prevention, prescribed fire, just information that we're putting out. The group has gone through and vetted a lot of these messages and these links, making sure that they're applicable to what we're doing here. And again, like I said, the big thing, if you go even further down on the page, go and there's that public outreach calendar. And so these are events that are going to be happening throughout. These are events that we're having, and then as well as the like insurance resources, fire with me. We're still catching up on that stuff, but the goal is to have some kind of outreach specific to that week, so that all of our other agencies that we're working with can push out that message at the same time. So it's a work in progress. Obviously, we've got to change around our typical meeting time a little bit to meet the schedules of some other folks who we want to have involved. But again, this is a great resource for you guys.
Thank you. And then Elizabeth, to your point about education for industry, that's definitely something we're looking at, trying to get together and see if we can't condense down our assessment class that we had, because obviously, the time is money for those folks. So if you could find something along those lines, we're gonna start working on getting that together, in between all the stuff.
Just to that point, one comment I've heard several times, especially for the landscape guys, winter is nice, especially if it's raining, because they're not working, it's pouring down rain, and that's an easy time with rehabilitation will be coming up quickly.
Okay, yeah, like I said. Yeah, and so it's on the radar, and something we're gonna have to adopt, like we currently have and trying to pare it down, because there's a lot of great, it took us 3 days to get through all that and want to get it pared down. It's comprehensive, and these have a good footing and then moving forward. On the radar, working on it. And a report.
Super. Questions for Chief Hoag? Thank you, Jeff. Hey, moving right along, Alice, anything else? Okay. Moving along, Karen, governance and new council formation and orientation. Nada? Ooh, moving right along. Pretty sure? Okay. Mr. Zelinski, so far.
First of all, regular snow fire meeting, will be on October 11th, and I think that's gonna be a Zoom meeting, at 11 o'clock. And we'll send you an email from now. I think it's related to so far, Michelle Volker is trying to the Forest Service is gonna try to organize a Caldor, field trip looking at reforestation. And I think she's calling on October 12th. I'll just keep going on RAP and RAC, is that okay?
Yeah.
RAC, haven't heard anything from Michelle, we haven't had a meeting in months, which is too bad, there's a lot of money sitting there, and a lot of projects to be done. We'll have to bug Michelle some more about that. The RAP meeting was yesterday, I submitted, minutes, notes, to the, staff and the e-board, and if anyone wants, just contact me if it didn't. Carrie, you're gonna disseminate that, aren't you? Remember I sent it to you an email yesterday, I think, on my notes for RAP.
I haven't really looked at, I'll look at it.
All
I mean, I haven't looked at my email, so
right.
I'll look at it.
Anyway, there are notes from it out there. A lot of us talking about the discount for the fair plan if you do everything perfectly. And the percentage I was told yesterday at that meeting was you're not gonna get about 14.5%. So apparently there's a lot of moving numbers out there, and I don't know if that's right. Chris, I'll just say there's a biomass meeting October 26th.
I get,
Is that one second?
if I don't.
Okay, Chris.
So as I told you before, I'm an individual on this, on our, Fire State Council, who follows the county's biomass working group. So therefore I get my information from Greg Stanton or from David, who keeps being appraised. So here it is. The So Far Biomass Working Group, which David is alluding to, held their biochar panel discussion on August the 24th. The meeting panel discussion was recorded and can be viewed by going to the So Far website. Then he goes on to say, Greg does, we, including District 2 and District 4 supervisors, met with SPI, Sierra Pacific Industries. This is Mark Emerson and Gary Blank on August 21st, and subsequently met with Mark Lester on September the 1st. We should have an answer from SPI next week regarding our path forward for a project in Camino. As you know, we've spoken previously in my reports about the efforts that was going on over a number of months with Sierra Pacific Industries over the use of that Camino site. So it sounds like we're getting very close to a decision. He goes on, Greg does, to say, I, including Norma and a rep for renewable biofuels, met with Paul Ingalls from Sierra Pacific Industries to tour the Camino and Latrobe sites and discuss the potential for a project on one of those sites. The Black Oak Mine Union School District will be submitting an application to CAL FIRE's Business and Workforce Development Grants application next week. And then he goes on to say that concludes his information that I said is as of this morning. David, was there anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, so all the slides.
Hit the button.
Yeah, all the slides are available online from that biomass meeting. So the October 26th, which I think is Zoom for 11 o'clock here. And the Black Oak Mine was a resubmission from a failed attempt, so we should probably get it right this time.
Well, they've done it a couple of times.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. That's the end of the David and Chris show. Very good. Any other things on project reports before we get into community council reports. Okay, we'll start that, and I'll take my prerogative here. So many of you know we had a fire off of North Circle known as the North Fire on the 31st of August, I believe. It was originally listed as 8 acres. I think it was downgraded to 4. And it was the suppression activities were phenomenal. People were on it. It was stopped being basically 2 houses away from the point of ignition. If you, as the crow flies, I am most appreciative, as are many of the people in our community. We did have our quarterly meeting for the Diamond Springs Fire Safe Council in this room to do a debrief on that. We had around 80 people here because obviously people were interested. We had representatives from CAL FIRE, Chief Vickers, and Lieutenant Morton from the SO. And there were a lot of concerns, especially about evac. I think the meeting went very well. A lot of the concerns that people had were assuaged, and I thought overall it was very positive, and hopefully it will increase interest in our Fire Safe Council. We can get more accomplished. And again, I want to extend my appreciation to CAL FIRE, County Fire, and the SO for their work and being able to present at our meeting. It was most appreciated. You were at the meeting, Hugh. Anything you want to add?
No, I thought it went very well. Just what you said. I frankly, I didn't anticipate it to go nearly as smooth as it did. But Chief Vickers did a great job explaining why he did what he did. He went through a lot of really good stuff that as when you're in the fire service, things you learn, about how you when you're incident commander of an incident, the things that are going through your mind that I think a lot of people don't think about. So he did a great job with that. And also Todd Morton Troy Morton did a great job talking about what SO did and stuff like that. Really, I think it was really eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people. Plus, I think it was really good information for anyone that really wasn't aware of what happens in an incident like that. So I thought it went very well.
Yep. Hey, again, Elizabeth. My fault. I'll work on that. My computer was on drugs. I believe it was. I'll have to double check. There may be a very large file, but it was a mess. Yeah. So I need a little more power in my video graphic card or something like that to capture everything. But I'll try to look at that and take care of that. So what I'd like to do is, as our community council reports, just kind of start a bit out of the room and work our way back, so we're not hopscotching. So I'll ask folks here, David.
For us, it's really huge news. It took several years, I think, but all of the Placerville Fire Safe Council sphere of recognition is now Firewise. So that's about 3,500 residential units in 3 different Firewise communities. That just got completed about last week. I give a shout out to Ron Privet for getting us over the finish line. I'll repeat that. Thank you, Don.
Let him know.
It's an enormous effort. It takes forever, and anyway, so we're thrilled. Everybody in the city of Placerville and lots of the surrounding area. Not everyone in 95667 up and see that, but everyone in the sphere of recognition is now Firewise with all that will take. Thank you.
Congratulations. Very good. Very good. Karen.
Had the first of a series of block parties on August 26th. And I think I'm gonna have Johnny speak to that. He's in the back of the room. So when you get back there, I think I'll have him speak to that. But on a personal level, I really wanted to express my sincere gratitude to Greg Elmos from OES and Catherine Hopkins from CAL FIRE and Ellen Thompson from Sierra Community Emergency Radio Association. All three of them did an excellent job, more than I could have ever hoped for. So my appreciation to the Sheriff's Office and CAL FIRE and Sierra. And when we get back to the back of the room, maybe Johnny can speak to.
Well, since we're doing it, why don't we jump right in right now? Go right ahead. You need to. So do I need to make you a co-host? Okay, stand by. Yeah. Then I'll tell you what, we'll get back to you. I'll work on that. And then Paul, have anything?
Just that I became aware that Cameron Park CSD is going to be beginning to hold informational meetings with the public at relative to the state of fire service within Cameron Park. And that's going to be coming up in the latter part of this month and the first couple of weeks in December.
Very good. Okay. Chris, anything? Alice?
It's kind of like a workshop like that, but then also we have some presentations. From the South County evacuation, large animal people, and also, the El Dorado County Fires Protection District, and also out there, probably not, because we're really making asking them. Unfortunately, the county had several people we thought were lined up that aren't gonna be able to come, so I'm really interested in your recording also.
Yeah, don't expect much.
Was that we put stickers on the bottom of these, so when we hand these out now, we learn about the Hill, where to subscribe, and how we give out pre-assessments. And I would encourage other people to do that too.
Very good.
But hey, Alice, where did you get the stickers? Oh, okay.
Thank you to HP printers. Okay, moving at the front row. Anything? Okay, second row.
Okay, Bob Pascal, Lotus. Interesting to hear David's comment on Firewise. I'm coordinating a Firewise kickoff meeting for our community, and I should say communities, because I'm kind of torn about this. Well, the total of 4 communities, Riverwood, Arabi, Paloma, and Lotus doesn't exceed 2,500, is still a pretty good job. It's probably more like 1,500. And so I've been, torn whether or not to break it down into 4 Firewise communities or 1. But anyway, we're holding a kickoff meeting. Captain Privet has been great, as has Richard back there. Richard's going to be at the meeting. It'll be Zoomed. It'll be in Paloma Range, a public meeting. And Karen, I guess I need as the church certificate. That's this Monday.
This Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit later. I'll send you an email.
So anyway, that's the big deal for us. The other thing is our roadside fuel reduction grant. We're gradually moving up with the ROEs. Our road ambassadors are going door to door, just doing a great job, just one by one, trying to collect a few more right of entry certificates. So that's it from us.
Very good.
Okay, so I'd just like to note that we will be raising for Sparks County will be building a greenway someday.
Super. Okay. Anyone else in that row? Next row. Next row. Okay.
In McKin Street here with Gallagher Road landowners. We've got the Firewise renewal in. We did an assessment for the community. I have a little easier time than most. I've only got 72 lots and 52 homes, so it's a lot easier to communicate. We're also getting into radios and looking forward to having a session with Bob for the community. We also did a newsletter, focused around evacuation and planning. And, that's about it. I do have to chat with Karen. I have a next Monday meeting.
Everybody has a Monday meeting.
It was all I hope it could be. Very good. Anyone else in that row? Okay, back row, almost back row. Rancho, any other, okay,
Landlord fence. To the company, we do fire and member resistant. When you mentioned that, coincidentally, I'm just here for my first time. My task, I'm a native Northern Californian, but due to fire safety, basically. Our company was founded by a firefighter in Southern California back in 2007. We've got thousands of homes. So home hardening, basically events from the roof to the foundation. We have every single one. So I'm gonna be working both directly with councils that are interested in giving them, more information. And then also with distribution, so that we're gonna be available. Actually just met with Jeff at True Value the other day. He's gonna build a board, have some samples of our events there, and then they'll basically carry them. I'll be working with more suppliers that are more contractor builder related, so be available for counter days for them if they're interested. And because of the requirement on any new builds, building code, a lot of them still don't know that they're required to put in. So anyway, I can say because somebody gave me this brochure last week, Doug over at Speed Co. I just ran into him randomly. And he told me about this, so I'm here. If you'd like, next time I can bring some brochures for people to have.
why don't you communicate with Alice, and hopefully you'll be at the technical session at 1 o'clock today. Now you do.
Painted synthetically, pleasing if you hold it carefully.
Okay, no. Okay, back row. Anybody? Johnny, let me see, I don't see you making a co-host, but I can make you a host. So hopefully I can get it back afterwards. So there you are. Okay, it's all yours. Gonna have to hand it back to me, I believe. Is it coming up? I can't see. Oh, there it is. Very good.
Being neighborly is part of your preparedness plan was our theme for the series of block parties that we proposed up in the Mosquito Fire Safety Council area.
If you could hold the mic a little closer to you. Thank you.
Trying to reach a broad audience and reaching out to the younger community as well on social media. We printed out flyers and distributed flyers on a lot of cabin funding, which is about how many homes, Karen?
There was about 100
About
with the
100.
courts off of, yeah.
Yeah, so about 100 homes. And this was on Saturday, August 26th. We had the EPSO, Cal Fire, Colorado County Fire Safety Councils represented, Community Emergency Radio Associations there as well. So here's the metrics. We had 8 radio signups. We had 51 attendees. We had 3 guest speakers. 2 hours of highly engaged, 2 hours of highly engaged conversation with the guest speakers and with community members that were raising concerns that we think about certain things. So that was a really good session. When you have a lot of back and forth between speakers and community members and most community members, I feel like it was really beneficial experience for everyone involved. We have 5 corporate sponsors that donated some, tickets and items for us to use for prizes, which really, increased the excitement for coming out to this event. And we had 4 new resident introductions, and we also had a lot of, established residents that were there that hadn't met other community, so it was pretty engaging. We did a preparedness survey with the people that attended. It was 5 basic questions to measure their preparedness. And what was really interesting that this topic focused on emergency evacuation preparedness, and that group was rated at 57%. That had their go backs packed. So this was a really impactful session. So I'm sure it raised that rating in that area of preparedness. So the sheriff coming out to speak on that, Cal Fire coming out to talk about evacuation readiness, certainly raised that score. So we'll be doing another block party on the 29th on a different street, and we'll do this survey again. Just run this quick. Probably not it. But here's some visual from the post-event video that went out on social media. See, there was a lot of food.
If you need them, you must feed them.
So it was a super successful event. So we thank Cal Fire and ESO coming out and the Emergency Radio Association and helping us raise the bar on some of these meetings. So
Here's a flyer for the next one, if anyone wants to just see what we're doing.
Your insurance?
We do.
Sorry.
Our 29th.
So with these types of events, that question, how to raise more attendance metrics at some of your meetings and events, feel free to reach out.
Thank you very much. Very nice quality of the visuals. If you could scoot me back to as being host, I'd appreciate it.
No, this one, the next one that's coming up.
Pardon me.
So we're trying to limit it to 3 speakers at each event. So the one coming up is, we have Air Med Care coming, and we have SCLARD, the animal evacuation. And we have Sierra again coming, because we're really trying to get that into our community. So each one will be a little bit different. Though I have to tell you, CAL FIRE and OES were just absolutely incredible, and created a real good engagement between the community that showed up and their discussions and talk. And I would love to have them come at any time. I would love to have them. I'm even, sending them things saying, we have free tacos, it's being catered, come back. So, yeah.
Hey, Hugh?
Yeah, I know, and I've talked to Karen about this a little bit, and I don't remember if I talked to you. But when we were first talking about this, I said there are other organizations or other fire safe councils that have talked to me about, they're thinking about block parties as is Texas Hill. So I think we talked about, hopefully they'll put together like a little guidebook for other fire safe councils of how to put together a block party. And at least give you some, you can always modify it to fit your need, but it will go over the things that you should think about. And I think that would be very handy for fire safe councils to have that are thinking about doing block parties and things like that. So we'll be working on that, and hopefully we'll have that for you before too long.
Good. Alice, take note. Heather.
Is that, food is a big
draw.
Here, and very few advantage of that. I think it's $300.
200.
200 a year. Very few take advantage of that.
As I say, if you need them, you must feed them. Chris.
2 things that I wanted to comment on. Project update, Mosquito Bridge. It's gonna be a public meeting at the firehouse on September the 28th at 6 p.m. As you know, there's a new bridge being built from Placerville, south of north of Placerville to Mosquito. This bridge is a high-level bridge, essentially at the top of the canyon, so it's a monster. It's a $70+ million bridge. This goes to the Mosquito Fire Safe District because when that is finished, that opens up your area, and therefore you should be looking at, I assume you are, looking toward the future and what that bridge may mean.
Well, absolutely, and that's absolutely correct, and what we're looking at right now too is the disadvantage that we're in right now because of the work that's going on. In
Yes.
one of our two, egress and
Routes.
yeah, to get in and out, and so we're kind of at a disadvantage there
Yeah.
as well, so we're looking at all of that all the
Yeah.
way around. But thank you.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to say is that for some of you that have been around Pleasant Valley Road most recently this last few weeks, there's been delays based on the SB1 work, which is Transportation Department hiring contractors to do pavement surfacing. And so that's most of that work has been concluded. They're waiting to the end to stripe all of these roads that they've done. This is a layered system, first layer, second layer, third layer, depending upon how bad the road was to begin with. Pleasant Valley Road, I believe, got the full treatment. People are saying, myself included, I had to wait a half an hour to go 5 minutes from my house to the deli in Diamond Springs, just because the traffic was so bad. This goes to show you, though, if we don't have these road improvements, how bad it could get. But anyway, Paul, I wanted to pass on that SB1 work is concluding, and hopefully people haven't been too bothered by what's going on. It's all positive in the end. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the key messages here is that, the circulation element and matters of egress in terms of evacuation are often changing, sometimes major, sometimes minor, sometimes permanent, sometimes temporary. And so it is a living circumstance. So when evacuations are required, you have to take, the situation you have now in order to be able to address that. Very good. Any other items before we go on to the public comment phase? Okay. So Elizabeth, Chris too.
I have not driven it yet. I want them to finish their work, but so Sandridge Road is about 12 miles with an exit on the 49 or an exit on the Black Bar and no other way out of our community. And the middle 3.5 miles of quote road has been problematic for years and years. So the county has had a plan and they finally were able to execute where they basically brought in a lot of base and they've done a beautiful plan here, a beautiful job chip sealing that 3.5 miles. So people will actually be able to drive the length of Sandridge Road without losing their key.
Yeah.
Losing their vehicle as they drive from Washington. We're just.
So it's completed? Okay, let us know in the next meeting. Chris too. And you could be the Queen Elizabeth too, if you like to.
This resurfacing, they did grinding of the existing pavement. Those grindings then became available to Sandridge Road. So they had to wait. That's why they've been waiting
to accumulate enough grindings to put him over on Sand Ridge. So I'm so happy, Elizabeth, to hear that work's finally concluding after many, many years.
Very good. And, just a note, with Chris on the planning commission, the land use is the last bastion of local government. And so the things that impact you locally, it happens, the lower the level of government, the more it impacts you individually. So, very good. Public comment period. Hearing none. Boy, we're getting toward the end here. For the good of the order, anything for the good of the order.
Yeah, I have something. You heard Jessica's report this morning about the Defensible Space Program, and I just want to shout out to Ernie. All of you that have been here for a while, remember Ernie started that program. He went out and he got $500 here, $150 there, and a little bit of money from the veterans. And you see where that program's gone. And I just want to commend Ernie for picking that up and taking that and running with it. And, I really appreciate it.
And if no objections, this meeting of the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council is now adjourned. See you all at 1 o'clock. Okay, we're done. I can.
I got it.